Hi, I'm Abhishek. I'm a graduate in political science. I am a student of MIL Academy, and my today's topic is distributed brute force attack. Welcome to the distributed password tracking using Pelican HPC cluster and John the Ripper presentation. Here our focus will be on three things, namely creating a cluster on a virtual box using the Pelican HPC Live CD, installing and configuring John the Ripper, and initiating a distributed brute force attack. Before we start with the setup, let me briefly tell you about the Pelican cluster. Pelican HPC can transform your desktop systems into a number crunching supercomputer. It allows you to do parallel computing using MPI, which is Message Passing Interface, and creates a cluster by networking multiple computers together. Now we start setting up the Pelican cluster on a virtual box. Please note that this can even be set up on multiple computers instead of a virtual box. First, download the Pelican HPC Live CD image from the internet. Then create at least 3 new virtual machines on the virtual box using the same Pelican image, which should then look something like the image which is shown here. Once ready with the 3 virtual machines, configure the main node so that it boots using the hard disk as shown in the figure. The same can be done by changing the boot order in the settings menu. The other nodes should have network as their primary boot option. Also, make sure that all the 3 virtual machines have their network configured as the internal network. Now, power on the main node and start the cluster setup by typing pelican_setup as shown in the figure. Now follow the instructions and power on the other nodes when instructed to. The other nodes will now do a network boot using the INI TRD image file which was created by the main node. Once the new nodes have booted up, go back to your main node and make it scan for the new nodes. You will notice that it will now show up with 2 new nodes as seen in the figure. The Pelican will now do an automatic test of the cluster. As you can see in the second figure, the test result shows the quantity of processors, which is 3. Calculation time was 1.71 seconds, and the cluster speed together is 1052 mflops. Now that the difficult part is over, we are ready to work with the John the Ripper. So now type start X to enter the GUI mode. Before we start installing the John the Ripper, let me just quickly tell you about John the Ripper. John the Ripper is basically a fast password cracker which uses brute force to crack passwords. It has one primary workload, which is to generate hashes of candidate passwords. These hashes are used to compare with the hashes which are being cracked. Most efforts to speed processing by parallelization focuses on evenly dispersing the primary computational load over the multiple cores. Now, installing the John the Ripper. In order to install John the Ripper, first download the latest version from the internet, extract it, and then run the make command from the src directory to compile the program. You will now be presented with a list of options as you can see. Choose the appropriate option and follow the instructions as per your system configurations. Once finished compiling, we are ready to go. Now just type John and press enter. You will see a whole list of options will come up. Use these options and start cracking the passwords. Well, this is not the end of my presentation. Thank you.